Let us remember that we are in the most holy presence of God. Our Lasallian prayer, I will continue, O my God, to do all my actions for the love of you. Saint John Baptist de La Salle, pray for us, live Jesus in our hearts forever.
Hi students, again, this is Sir Frank, your physical education instructor. I'm glad to welcome you for another exciting discussion. By the way, I hope you are all safe and let's keep ourselves healthy now that we're still facing a pandemic.
Let's have an activity first. So this is the concept map. So how do you define the word Arnis? Write as many words as you can that are related to it. And I'll give you 3 minutes to answer.
Very good students. With that, I know some of you have already an idea on what we're going to discuss for today. So let's start with our discussion. Arnis was developed by the indigenous populations of the Philippines, who use an assorted range of weaponry for combat and self-defense. Encompassing both simple impact and edge weapons, Arnis traditionally involved rattan, sword, dagger, and spears. In 1521, equipped with nothing more than bladed weapons and their fearsome Arnis abilities, Filipino islanders defeated Ferdinand Magellan's armored, musket-bearing Spanish conquistador forces when they tried to invade. When the Spanish eventually returned and successfully conquered parts of the Philippines, despite its prohibition, the traditions of Arnis were preserved in the forms of ritual dance, performance, and mock battles. While earlier Filipino martial arts were influenced by Spanish colonization, and modern forms had been affected by the country's contact with both the United States and Japan after gaining independence in 1890. Just over a century later, in 2009, the government of the Philippines declared Arnis to be the martial art and national sports of the Philippines, signed by the former President Gloria Macapagal Arroyo. The act mandates the Department of Education to include the Arnis as a physical education course. Thus, in 2012, Arnis was included among the priority sports in Palaro Pambansa or in national games. There's actually a lot of discussion and debate as to origins of terms Cali, Arnis, and Escrima. But in this meeting, we're not going to talk about that. Rather, we're going to be talking about how these terms are actually used as it pertains to Filipino martial arts. The term Cali, Arnis, and Escrima are generally interchangeable. They mean the same general thing and they refer to Filipino weapon-based fighting system. What the difference is, you've probably seen different practitioners doing different things. The difference is really in the styles and system of Arnis, Cali, and Escrima. There are so many styles, there are so many systems, which is a diverse field of martial arts or a very diverse art. The difference based on what I've seen and experienced are the styles and systems which have different poses, characteristics, practices, philosophies, and some style focuses on the close quarter combats, while others style like to emphasize long distance combat. There are some styles trained mainly with swords or blades. Some styles use a stick to represent the sword or blade, or uses a stick as simply as a stick. However, there are styles that focus more on self-defense or real-world application or combat sports and sports competition. So basically, the term Cali, Arnis, and Escrima all refer to Filipino weapon-based fighting system or a Filipino weapon-based martial art. In this video, I'm sharing with you a couple of basic movements that you can use to warm up your Arnis stick or baston. start with the basics. So before we start with the session, the practitioners are usually perform pugay. This is where student and instructors give out to each other. So it's a means of respect. So usually the senior student is going to cue the class to give a bow. So there are two kinds of grips that I use with the single stick. One is holding it all the way at the very end of the stick, just like this. And the other one is holding it one piece away from the bottom. So holding it all the way at the end here gives you more reach and more range.
Now here's a couple of basic striking techniques or striking patterns that you can use in practicing Arnis. So first is the Ekis. Ekis essentially means letter X. So you're just going to draw a large X like this. Notice that I'm shifting my weight from the forward stance to what we call a back stance. And as I'm shifting my weight, I'm essentially adding more momentum and more power to my strike. So that is the Ekis. So the next pattern is called the banda-ibanda, and essentially just like the ekis, you're going from the side to side, but you're keeping the strike in a horizontal plane like this. So target points could be the side of the face, it could be the hip if you lower your strike, or it could be also the hands and things like that with the stick. So you're essentially going for hard targets, or rather those are the ideal targets as you want to meet a blunt weapon with the hard targets. And the third pattern you can try starting out with is called baba taas, and essentially you're going to strike down vertically here to the top of the head, and the next is thrust to the solar plexus, so downward and upward. So again, you have the ekis, banda-ibanda, and taas baba. Sinoali refers to the alternating strikes that make weaving-like motions with the sticks. This is something you can find across multiple systems, and I have found that reading with these patterns has helped me develop better coordination. There are tons of variations that are used out there, each with its own name depending on the system you are in. Starting from a position like this, first strike is a downward diagonal strike to the temple. Second strike is a backhand strike with the other hand while clipping the first stick. The third strike is another backhand strike to the other side of the head while clipping the second stick. You can do the same thing from the other side. You'll then want to connect both sets, execute the first strike of the second set as you clip the extended stick of the previous set.
Wave beats music.
Let's now have the application. Perform the drills, which is the ekis, banda-ibanda, and baba taas. Make sure that you practice it 16 counts in each drill, and I'll give you 5 minutes to prepare for that. For your assignment, watch and practice the 12 basic striking techniques in Arnis. Here's the link for your reference. I hope you've learned something from the discussion that we had today. Thank you and see you next week.